You know that I control the galaxy.
Hey guys, it's me, that one guy that you just keep forgetting exists because he just never makes any videos. And today, I'm making a tier list video for some reason. Personally, I thought these were dead, but then JonTron made one, and then Uncle Dane made one, and I thought, hey, I got a million things to do. Why don't I just add another thing to do? But I thought it would be good to make a quick little video while I'm making a much bigger video, which is taking a while. Here's a quick sneak peek. There you go, that's all you get. Plus, it's what all the cool kids are doing, so I wanted to do it with my own special spin. So today, you're going to be watching Ihasnotomato's official professional no, not top 10, tier, the best items in Team Fortress 2 exclusively for the Pyro, the game. One thing before we get started, Aaron, bless his heart, was going to be here, but then Windows 10 decided to be Windows 10 and ruined everything. So he's not here, but he'll be here with us in spirit in the form of his little dancing medic in the corner there. If you ever feel lonely throughout the video, he'll be there. Don't worry, he'll never go away. And also, if you want, here's a picture of me, and now we'll take that away. So yeah. Anyway, let's just jump into it. Alright, so we're going to be doing it in order of release, because I know that you all know what the release date of all the weapons are, like I do. First of all, as I'm putting the old flamethrower in here, I want to just explain that yes, I know I'm making my kind of like tier list in the weapon review series, like I have for the flamethrower here, and also the shotgun, which I will also do while I'm describing this thing if I can find the friggin' layer. But the thing about that list is like A, who cares, and B, I realized as I was making this video, as I was figuring out where I'd put all these little MFs, as one would call them, that I was changing my list on the fly anyway. So that list is already outdated and it's friggin' annoying. But anyway, the shotgun and the flamethrower both go in A tier because I've already described why I like them in those videos here and here. So check them out. But next up we have the good old fire axe. Now the thing about the fire axe is it's one of the worst weapons in the entire game. Why, you might ask? Well, that's a very simple reason. It's because it's just straight up outclassed. Literally, it is the only weapon in the entire game that literally has it's just obsolete. There is a weapon that is a complete and utter direct upgrade, you know, and it's one of those situations of why would you ever use the fire axe when you could use the third degree? And unfortunately it's going in E tier for that reason alone, because it's just obsolete. It literally, there are so many weapons in this game where people are like, oh, you know, this is obviously a direct upgrade, but it's still got a downside of some kind. The third degree does not have a downside of any kind, so yeah, it goes in E tier, unfortunately. I like the fire axe, I honestly do, but you know, I don't make the rules. I mean, I make the list. Next up we have the good old back burner. Now the thing about the back burner, I had it higher on the list, right? Because, you know, it's one of those weapons that most people, they don't really care about it, you know. When it comes to pyro weapons, the most discourse comes around like the flog and the degreaser, but no one really remembers the back burner that much. And that's because for the most part, it's not the best, it's not the worst, but it kind of is awful. Because the thing is, I was around before the Phlogistinator, and I remember what this thing was like, and it sucked, okay? I'm putting it in C tier, because I don't hate it that much. I mean, I like it. I like using it because I'm an idiot who likes air blast with all the weapons, including the backburner. I call it the fuel guzzler for that reason. But I'm gonna put it in C tier because I don't respect it. Okay, this thing is still a dick move of a weapon. Back in the day, before the flog came out, this was widely considered the worst pyro weapon, and possibly also one of the worst weapons in the game, just because of that 100% critical hit chance from behind. It's just insane. Okay, insane. And back then people didn't appreciate air blast either, so when the backburner first came out, it didn't even have an air blast because it was added in the same update that they added air blast, which they added to the flamethrower. But of course you all know all that, don't you? Because you've watched my videos, haven't you? Right? Yes, of course you have. Now, the good old flare gun. Now, the thing about the flare gun is that that's going in A tier. Let's just put that out of the way. Why? Because I use it all the time. And it's one of those things which, it's honestly, you know, it's a high risk, high reward kind of weapon that takes skill to master and and learn to use. And you know, it's got no crutches necessarily, but you know, if you hit that guy twice, you will do a critical hit, and it's really nice to do that, and I like that. That's it. That's the flare gun. I mean, the flare gun is one of the most simple weapons in the game, and I love it for that. I had it since when I first installed the game, but way back in the Stone Age, and I just really respect it. Okay, there's like, you can't go wrong with the good old flare gun. All right, I understand if you can't aim with it, you know, it's kind of hard to use, but if you can, then it's great. You know, I love that. It's good. Great times had by all. So next up's the extinguisher, which of course goes into S tier, although as it's more colloquially named, the extinguisher tier. But you know what? Actually, that's kind of unfair. I'm a bit biased. Everyone knows that I like the extinguisher. Tell you what, let's ask Twitter instead. Well, Twitter says it should be an S tier, so I guess I'll just put it back in S tier. I mean, hey man, I didn't make the rules. All right, look, that was Twitter. All right. And what do you want me to say? Alright, so next is the Home Wrecker, and the Home Wrecker is gonna go in B tier because it's a nice utility tool, but it's not something that I would. It's like, it's not one of my main things that I'd cycle between, but you know, it comes in handy in the situations where it could come in handy. I mean, there's nothing wrong with the Home Wrecker necessarily. I mean, it's a utility item more than anything. It's a situational item, and for what it does, it's great. You know, it's really interesting and dynamic to have like one of the only other weapons in the game that can remove a sapper. And we'll get to the other one of the many. You know what I mean, in a bit. The other feature it has, which is to destroy buildings real quick, is nowhere near as useful as you might think it would be. Other than, like, I don't know, destroying teleporters at the end of the round before anyone else gets there. Believe me, running at this Ubered running at a sentry gun while you're Ubered with this out is not as effective as you would hope it to be. Believe me, I've tried many times. Alright, so the next substance greaser goes into A tier, I guess, because, I don't know, everyone loves it. It's like, it's a good flamethrower. I have, like, literally no thoughts on it. I use it every now and then. It's fine, it's good. It's like a brilliant combo weapon. Everyone loves it, and, you know, I can't really argue with that. It's the degreaser. 3 thumbs up. Well, maybe just 2, actually. 3's for the extinguisher. I mean, you know, it's the degreaser. You use it. Everyone uses it, except for me. I use the flamethrower because I'm a weird little boy. Okay, so next up's the power jack, and you know, actually, it might be a little bit biased for me to just keep doing all these things. Let's get the help of someone else. How about TFG? Yeah, let's see what he has to say about the power jack. Where do you think it should be ranked, TFG?
The power jack is B tier.
A tier? Well, I mean, yeah, that's pretty much where I was going to put it. All right, there it goes. I think it should be an A tier because, you know, everyone likes going fast. Again, it's not something that I particularly care about that much. I don't use it all that often, but, like, I respect it. And I understand why it would go in A tier. You know what I'm saying? Like, everyone likes going fast. I personally can take it or leave it. You know, it's good. I'm not going to deny that. You know, I personally don't use it that much, but I understand. You know, I'm there for you. I've been there. Or something. I don't know. It's friggin' power jack. What do you want me to say about it? I'll get to it eventually. I'll get to all these items eventually, by the way. I'm gonna make a video on all of them one day, even though it takes me 300 million years. Okay, so next up's the back scratcher. Wow, there it goes. Oh, it's going up to extinguisher. Oh, no, going down to A, B. Oh god, my computer stopped. Oh, there it goes. Oh, down to C, D. Oh, back up to C. Oh, E. No. Oh, it's back at C. Okay, well, alright, it's going to stay at C. Well, yep. The back scratcher is one of those weapons that I kind of have a little bit of an irk about. Okay, so I want to then clarify that this is, while it is the professional and very real list that is definitely not a joke whatsoever, it is also a little bit just my opinion. I think that the back scratcher is good. Well, I mean, it's excellent in competitive, and that's it. It is trash, in my opinion, in casual, other than, I guess, medieval mode. And let me explain why, okay? It's because everyone is stupid in casual, alright? Including me, but mainly everyone else, alright? Because people don't read stats, okay? The pyros that wear the back scratcher don't realize they're wearing it, and the medics that are healing them don't realize what it does or if they're wearing it either. And so this pyro is standing there screaming to be healed, and the medic's just standing there trying to heal him, and he's just like, I'm trying, dude, why is it taking so long? And the pyro's just like, why is my game so trash? And it's just like, I've seen this situation way more often than you might think. And it's just frustrating, and I don't like using it either. As someone who likes to get pocketed all the time because I'm incompetent and can't play the game by myself, I don't like using this weapon. It just, in casual, in pubs, it's just like, it's just a recipe for disaster. In competitive, when people know you're using it and what it's used for, it's great. It's honestly fantastic, but I'm just going to put it middle road C tier, honestly. So there you go. Alright, so next up the sharpened volcano fragment. And hey, I didn't say where it would go yet. Put that back. I mean, well, yeah, it's going in E tier. Just, okay, fine, whatever. I don't even care. Yeah, it's just, I mean, you get it. It's the sharpened volcano fragment. No one has any friggin', no one likes this weapon. Why? Because what does it do? Okay, you hit someone with it and they catch on fire. Alright, great. The pyro will always have a weapon on them at all times that will light people on fire. That's just how it works. You don't need a less consistent melee weapon that does the exact same thing, except way less effectively. It's just again another redundant, useless item that doesn't really need to exist. I will say that I do kind of like the idea of it though. I like the idea that you can have a build where every single one of your weapons can light someone on fire, but aside from that novelty, it's pointless. So yeah, that's an E tier for me, Bob. So next up is the Detonator, also known as the Detonator for people who like to speak normal. And I'm just going to put it in C tier. I think that the Detonator, honestly, tiny bit overrated. The ability to detonator jump, as it were, that everyone loves so much, I think is a little bit overrated. You know, maybe, again, I don't know what the competitive scene is doing over there with the Detonator, but like, even in casual, it's just like, it's whatever, you know? It's just like, I guess you could use it as a gap closer. I mean, all flare guns are, all secondaries are for the pyro, but like, yeah, it's just like, you know, the Detonator jump is just such a novelty to me and just like not that useful. I mean, it's great if you just want to have fun and jump around, but like, I don't know, it's like, I'd rather just use, you know, a flare gun that's normal and works and thing. Otherwise, like, you can detonate it mid-air, but it's really freaking hard to get it correct. Detonating it at the right time is way more finicky than it should be, in my opinion. Sometimes I feel like it doesn't even work. Yeah. It's a C tier. I'm happy with that. Next up, we have the reserve shooter. That's going in a firm D for don't really care about it anymore. Obviously, the reserve shooter used to be like a big point of like, you know, personally, I never thought it was that bad, but I understand where the gripes came from. Since then, of course, they've nerfed and changed it, so now pyros can't do their old air blast, shoot 'em combo. But as a result, it's just become kind of a not great shotgun side grade thing. Like, again, it's so situational now. You used to be able to create those situations, and now you pretty much just can't as a pyro, making it just kind of a pointless weapon. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't pick it. It's not complete trash, I guess. But you know, it's there. If you want to use it, I'm not going to be like, don't use it. But I do wonder whenever I see someone use it, if they realize that it's been nerfed. That's often the impression I get. They're using it thinking that the old combo works, but it don't work no good no more. Doesn't feel so good, Mr. Stark. Let's just move right along to a better weapon. And by better weapon, I mean the Phlogistinator. And the Phlogistinator is trash. It's going right in the bin. Right, there it goes. I'm not even going to explain it because it's awful, and you should know that it's awful. Okay, I'll explain it a little bit. Other than the fact that it heavily rewards the W plus M1 playstyle, I despise any flamethrower that does not have an air blast. Additionally, like, really just gonna give yourself crits just for doing your job. That's cool. That's a really neat ability. You don't have to do anything. You just gotta burn people, run around a corner, activate it, and then you just burn people for more, except with way more damage. And there's no air blast, so you can't air blast enemies away, you can't air blast projectiles back, and you can't extinguish your teammates. So this for me is anti-player. This is anti-fun. And it promotes the worst playstyle in the game that everyone hates. And it's kind of funny that, like I said back in the day, the backburner used to be the worst flamethrower. But thank you, Flog, for taking that crown. Good job. I hate you. Go away and die. Weedok agrees. Alright, next up is the Man Melter, and I don't really have a very strong opinion on it. So, you know what? Let's ask Risemonger, another TF2 YouTuber. What do you have to say about this, Rise?
The Man Melter is D tier.
D tier? Well, I mean, yeah, I guess that's where I was going to put it too. The Man Melter, all things considered, is actually like a pretty good weapon. I mean, it's okay, but there's just certain things that it doesn't jive correctly with me. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's the fact that the particle effects are just a little bit too difficult for me to see. When you got your poltergust going on and the little sparkly indicator to show that it's charged and things like that. It also like actually fires at a slightly different rate to a normal flare gun, which just messes my mind up to no degree. I honestly think that it could be considered like a pretty decent weapon, but no one uses it. In all reality, it probably doesn't belong in D tier, but, I'm not a fair man, so, Alright, so next up is the third degree. Now, if you recall earlier in the video, I talked about how the third degree is a direct upgrade to the Fire Axe, right? Which means that by all logic, it should at least go in D, C, B, A, one of those tiers. Nope, it goes in E tier, because it's also trash, and I hate it because of what it did to the Fire Axe. Also, I think its upside is, again, anti-fun, anti-player, because it's a horrible, horrible upside. All it does is encourage people to do stupid and I think that's just a no-go. That's not on, alright? Bad. Bad. Bad! Alright, let's talk about the Scorch Shot, okay? Now, the Scorch Shot is what I like to describe as baby's first flare gun. And that's not to say that I'm mocking it or I think that it's bad. I just think that, it's actually a really great weapon for those of you who are, new to flare guns. And so I'm going to put it in B tier, right in between the detonator and the flare gun, because I use it sometimes. It's basically like the flare gun, but you don't have to aim as good. But also, it does less damage overall because it does mini crits instead of crits, and I don't know, I think it's a really good compromise. For me, this kind of is like, the rocket jumper equivalent of the flare gun, except it actually does damage. It's like, I think if you're new to TF2 and new to Pyro and you want to use a flare gun, use the Scorch Shot. It's not my favorite, it's pretty okay. I think that some people, it's training wheels, right? I think that after you get off your training wheels, right, you should move on to the big wheels. You can't have your training wheels on forever, and that's kind of where I get a little bit iffy about it, is that I think sometimes people rely on it a bit too heavily, but that's a whole nother topic for another day. I respect the Scorch Shot. I think it's pretty okay. Speaking of pretty okay, let's talk about the Neon Annihilator. Wow! I mean, I consider it it's like a weird side grade to the Home Wrecker, in that it also removes sappers for some reason, but it also does another effect of 100% critical hits against wet players. It's kind of interesting, when this weapon first came out, it actually didn't have the sapper remove thing, and it only did the wet players thing, and everyone was like, what the hell, this is the worst weapon in the game. And like, alright, it can remove sappers, but in 2 hits instead of 1. So as a result, it's a fine utility tool again, very situational. Much like the Home Wrecker. You might argue a little bit more situational, but I don't know. You never know what map you'll be on, I guess. I'm just trying to say that if I see someone with this out on a map that, might not have water and they're not pyro sharking or whatever, I don't really have a problem with it. I never go, looks like that guy's using the Neon Annihilator. -10 respect points. I don't know what I'm talking about. But, it's whatever. It's really whatever. Maybe it's C tier whatever, but no, I already made this list, so it's going to B tier. Alright, next up is the Panic Attack. And let's get one more guess. Those last two maybe was a little bit biased. Let's get good old Bon Oakley. Okay, Bon Oakley, what do you think about the Panic Attack?
Hey, you should subscribe to Bon Oakley. Why?
Well, not only does he create some insightful videos revolving around everyone's favourite pyromaniac, but he also has pyro titties.
You know what? I completely agree. I do think that it should go in C tier, honestly. The panic attack, it's just like a... You know? It's a shotgun. It used to have a really interesting gimmick, and now that's not there, and now it's just a shotgun. And, it's very middle of the road, hence why it's in the middle of the list. I don't know, I have so few opinions on this thing. It's the panic attack, except it's not anymore. It's just there. Again, if you use it, then great. Some people are kind of saying it's like the new reserve shooter, because you can do the air blast combo, and it's easier to hit all your shots, but like... Whatever. It's whatever. Alright, next up is the Dragon's Fury, and that's going in B tier. Why is it going in B tier? Because it's a fine thing, which I don't really know much. I don't know. It's fine. A lot of people used to think it was OP when the Pyro update came out, but like, it's... not really. It's fine. You know, you just gotta aim and shoot. It's great, actually. I like that it's like it promotes the idea of you having to aim as a pyro, which is a novel concept for a lot of you. It does the whole, you know, it has benefits if you're already on fire, but the thing is, when it first came out, literally everyone was pyro, so everyone was on fire all the time, and therefore that's why it was OP. I think it's really cool that you can also reflect the fireballs. Did you know that? You should try it. In all honesty, there is a very real chance that I could rank it higher on the list, but I don't use it that often because I have what is known as Strange syndrome, which means that I can't use any weapon that isn't Strange variant in fear of, you know, missing out of kills. So Valve, please add a Strange Dragon's Fury, I beg you. Next up is the Hot Hand, in what might be my most controversial choice yet. It's going in C tier. What? C tier? But this is a trash weapon. It does terribly in competitive. Why would you ever pick this? Because I don't play competitive, doy. And also, I think that, honestly, the Hot Hand does what it was meant to do. It's a joke weapon, okay? I know this, you know this, Valve knows this. It's a joke, okay? It's a useless joke of a weapon. But it does that perfectly, in my opinion. And how can I fault a weapon that's just doing its thing, you know? Obviously, no, you should never use this if you're trying to be in a serious game, but it's cool though, you know, it's a friggin' glove hand, you go whap, 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 you know, slap them around a little bit. Not to mention, much like the extinguisher, you know, the idea of just getting a kill of this thing is just fantastic, you know? Imagine the humiliation of that little boy's face as you slapped him in the head. So yeah, I don't know. It's like, it's a fine weapon. It does what it's intended to do. I'm not saying it's the greatest weapon in the game, but I am saying I think some people are a little bit too harsh on it. Next up is the Thermal Thruster. Wow, look at that. I'm not even touching it. It's going in D tier. It's a really good idea, but it just doesn't do it for me. I just can't get over the fact that it, you know, it does completely remove your secondary weapon, and I didn't realize how much I personally rely on secondary weapons until this came out. The Pyro for me is all about combos, you know. While of course the Pyro does have many melee weapons that, you know, do that fairly well, the secondary weapons are kind of where it's more at, and just not having a secondary weapon is just... it doesn't jive with me. Also, for a long time, it did have like a really long deploy time, and they have changed that since. I haven't really played with it much, but honestly, the idea of this weapon was supposed to be in maps, you know, just to get ahead of the line, to close the gaps or whatever, but I find that most people just use this on like high tower. And if you're a high tower weapon, then you're kind of stuck to being a high tower weapon, I feel like sometimes. Not that that's a bad thing, but I just can't see myself using it seriously kind of ever, you know. I love the idea. I think it's a great idea, and if you use this effectively, then fantastic, but it just, I don't know, it just doesn't do it for me. I'm not saying that it should be like a passive item or anything like that. I don't know what they could do to make it better for me personally, but yeah, I don't know. I'd have to change my whole playstyle, my whole brain. Maybe once I get up to this like 300,000 million years from now, in my review series, I'll play it for a while and I'll realize that it's really, really good. But for now, I just can't, man. I just can't. And now, finally, we come to the gas passer. Now, if you have followed my channel for any period of time after the Jungle Inferno update, you might actually know my opinions on this. And yes, indeed, folks, I do believe that it will be going in the E tier. Or, as the E tier is actually called, the actual garbage tier. In fact, actually, you know what? The gas passer. There you go. Actually, just. There you go. Well, maybe just. There you go. Perfect. So the gas passer is the worst weapon in the game. Because it's broken, honestly. I think it's broken. People are like, oh, but it's really good in man versus machine. Yes, it is. But I'm talking about casual here, because I am a casual scrub. You should have gathered this by the rest of the entire video, where I just ranted about casual the whole time. The thing that makes it so good in MVM is what makes it so bad in casual play, okay? Again, I'll talk about this one day, but it's going to be many years from now, likely, so I'll just explain it to you now. You got to deal burn damage to get it back, okay? It's as simple as that, right? But in MVM, you're going to be burning robots literally all of the time. In casual, yes you do, but not as much as people think you do, okay? So in MVM, you're getting it back literally all the time. You constantly have this secondary weapon that you can keep using. But in casual, you spend all game to get your stupid meter to fill up, right? And then when you finally get it, you throw it, right? And one of two things happen. Either A, you completely miss, or B, you don't miss, but no one follows up on it. This is a great team tool. You know, this is one where, like, if everyone's covered in gas, it literally only needs, like, a couple of bullets and everyone catches on fire, right? But no one ever follows up because it's casual and everyone does their own thing. But aside from that, regardless of if it works or not, after you throw the gas passer, it's gone, which means you have literally 0 secondary weapons for that period of time until it comes back. And that could be a really long time, because for whatever bizarre reason, it's the only weapon in the game that cannot recharge at a resupply cabinet for some reason, and as a result, it pisses me off. I was talking just before about how I don't like the thermal thruster because I don't have a proper secondary weapon, but at least I got something there. When you're using the gas passer, I'd say literally 95% of the game, you just don't have a secondary. You just don't, okay? You have a secondary every now and then you'll probably squander it, all right? Regardless of skill, it's just not a viable weapon at all for me personally. I hate it. It's terrible. It's just not good, okay? It's not good. It's the worst weapon in the game. Fix it, Valve. Fix it greatly. All you gotta do really is just make it so you can get it back naturally through like a resupply cabinet, or it just recharges by itself at a decent rate. But no, you made it the one weapon in the game that is specifically like that. And I just, you know, I'm just kind of sick of it, honestly. I'm sick of this abuse. I'm sick of this nonsense. And I'm sick of not getting any updates for a really long time, Valve. Please, I'm begging you. Anyway, so there you go. There's my final tier list of all the pyro weapons. My very official, very professional, very real, very good tier list. Let me know your tier lists in the description. No, comments. That's the one. I get to write in the description, not you. I'm sorry. I'll let you go. I'll let you have a go next time. Regardless, next video's coming up eventually, hopefully in a couple of weeks. Can't really say though. Yep. End the video. End the video, please. I'm gonna sneeze.